Hello, I'm Abi Elphinstone and I write adventure books filled with magic. So I grew up in the wilds of Scotland with mountains, rivers and woods all around me. But some of my favourite childhood memories sprung from inside my garden, from the trees and plants growing there. My dad built me and my siblings a tree house halfway up a holly tree beside my house. And there was something magical about escaping the world of grown-ups and stepping into something that felt more secret and altogether different. Often I'd carry up jam jars filled with potions that I'd made from my garden by bunging in moss and mud and flower petals and mixing it all up together. And then I imagined that these potions, which I laid out on little shelves inside my treehouse, that goblins would come up in the middle of the night and take a sip from them. So I was living in London when I became a writer years later, and I found myself missing trees and plants. So I sought them out in city gardens, on street corners, in parks. And it was then that I stumbled across this book, The Cabaret of Plants by Richard Mabey. From reading it, I learned that trees and plants are every bit as magical and important as I'd imagined them to be as a child. Trees combat climate change, they soak up floods, they purify the air. One of the tallest trees in the world is a redwood called Hyperion. It's 116 metres high, that's 20 metres taller than Big Ben. I discovered trees release chemicals called phytoncides, which reduce anxiety levels and make us happier. And I unearthed a very specific plant called a violet orchid, which defies logic by growing in thickets where it's too dark to even read. And I read about an indoor houseplant called peace lily, which can help cure asthma because it traps pollutants and creates purer air. I decided then I would put a brilliant tree in pretty much every single book I ever wrote. So I came across the never late tree, or you will come across the never late tree, in Rumblestar. You can see there's a map at the beginning of this book. Here we go. And just at the bottom, you can see the never late tree. So unlike an ordinary tree, this never late tree grows excuses in tiny white envelopes dangling from the branches. So if you're caught outside the castle in Rumblestar after curfew, you can pluck an envelope with an excuse from the never late tree, and hopefully it won't matter so much that you're late back home. In my book Jungle Drop, there is a forever fern, a legendary fern that can restore hope to a broken kingdom. So in my books, trees and plants find their way in almost every story. So can you guys discover something that interests you about the natural world through reading? Then can you go and explore this idea further outdoors in an adventure of your own? It might be rivers that spark your interest, or mountains or oceans. It might be bees, badgers or bats. Books unlock the world for us. They place us on the doorstep to adventure every single time we turn a page. Have fun.